The trillions of cells in your body, each one is life. That's quite staggering. I mean, its makeup is just unbelievably complex and wonderful. It, as you know, of course, I mean, generates the energy from the air and the carbon and the use of the other elements in the body that it has come to it through eating and through breathing and drinking. Yeah. And what it was initially endowed with, of course, as well. And when you breathe, you replenish its ability to generate energy. That's how the physical body works. I don't mean I've explained the chemical reaction or something, I haven't mastered it, don't get me wrong. But the understanding is we can live directly from God's energy. Of course, God is all powerful, all able. He can think energy into us just like that. But so can you. You can think energy into you. For life eternal, you don't need even energy from the universe. You don't need the universe. You just need God. Well, you could say the universe is some sort of part of God, thoughts of God. Now then you're getting much nearer to it. Well, then we can say your thoughts and his thoughts. Well, you can't really distinguish. You're drawing the thoughts from him, and he's calling the tune what thoughts you choose to draw. You see, he's thinking you. That's your existence. He's thinking you and me. Because he wanted someone lovely, eternally. And he's going to get it. And he's made us so that we're so delighted he's going to get it. And it's going to be us among trillions of others, and that's just fine. All joy to him and to all of us. Now, coming back to where I was, in other words, you can take energy direct. You don't need, actually, ultimately, to take it from what you see as its physical source here. That's just an intermediary and a wonderful one. Magnificent. The body is the most incredible creation, isn't it? But you don't actually have to rely on that for your spiritual and your physical being. You can live direct. And that's what Kriya Yoga's about. It's about you taking in energy direct from God, and not just crudely energy, but more finely the very thoughts of God, more beautifully, more consistently, more purely. You may think we live by energy, and in a rough and ready sense that is true, but energy only exists because of his thoughts, and we are his thoughts, and we can simply tap into that understanding and receive his thoughts, his energy, everything. Because everything is in his mind, and we, as his children, as his eternal guests, as his eternal family, can enjoy and have always that sovereignty with him, to be in his mind, ever close to him, you see, closer than close. That's the oneness. Not the oneness isn't that we become obliterated back into the one God. It's not that. The oneness is that we exist forever in harmony with him and all that he's thinking. How beautiful. And we exercise that sovereignty of initiation, of creativity, because he's creative, we're creative. We're creative in him. We each bring a unique creativity. I've got sidetracked again, haven't I? I want to come back to breathing. Breathing settles the mind. Control the breath. You control the state, the atmosphere of the mind. You enter into a peace that communes with God. And it's the eternal communion with God that you need to become aware of, to be ever conscious of, so that everything you do is in loveliness. Just beautiful. So, we practice Kriya. I mean, there are other practices that do it too. Worship is similar. Hence, a lot of chanting or singing of Christian songs. Some people can do it by what they call prayer, or what others call meditation. But it's a sort of, ideally, in both cases, a focusing on God, focusing on the awareness of God, which transforms us, of course. So, I don't mean that Kriya is the only way, but it is an exceptionally good way for a secular world. You could take a very secular person, and because of the practice of Kriya, you would find that they transform at an astonishing rate into one of the most godly friends you know. Isn't that just wonderful? They don't have to buy a theology or anything like that. Just focus on the breath. Triangular breathing. I've talked about it elsewhere, haven't I? You can look it up on the, just track down the word Kriya. You'll find how to do it in my recordings. And it will be my version, of course, with my particular bent on it. It won't be quite like someone else thinks it should be. And yours won't be either. It'll have your mark on it, your individuality, your loveliness is very acceptable to God. Don't think you have to be someone else. Your uniqueness is his treasure. That's why he's made you the way you are. I was reminded reading The New Path by Kriyananda today. It points out there that his guru, Paramahansa, said to him, don't think that even the wrong you do is actually done by you. It's not. Hold God responsible for it all. Know that he is leading you through this, what I would call a wilderness, really, of not knowing, of lack of consciousness. And you in your childish innocence choose all sorts of possibilities. And he, arranges the environment, the furniture and the opportunities so that what you do take, the path you do go on, gets you to eternal life with him. Wonderful, heavenly, eternal life with him. What more could one want? Bless you. Thank you, Dad. You see, the practice does quieten the breath. Obviously, you're deliberately doing that, which quietens the heart. This, in a sense, in the spiritual sense, has an effect of tuning into the emotions of peace, calmness, and assurance that go with the thoughts and set the scene for the thoughts of calmness and assurance. In other words, your mind becomes retuned to that which is good. You're harmonizing your mind by setting the background through your heart, which is receiving the calm command to breathe calmly, deeply, as if everything were in harmony. You see, it's a self-fulfilling intention. I intend to do the following, which will cause the heart to behave as if there's peace and assurance. The style of breathing and so on that goes with contentment, love, good intentions, harmony. So the mind tunes in accordingly, draws the thoughts of God that match the background atmosphere that the mind finds itself in, and well supplied by, if you like, oxygen, air. You know, if you're just sitting there thinking, four-fifths of the oxygen you're taking in is actually used by the brain. Now, in some sense, you're visualizing the heart and the lungs using it as well. And in some sense, you're circulating in your mind the force, the oxygen, the power, the energy round the body. What you are not seeking is some uprush of energy that gives you some spectacular light and ignition. You don't want to be on fire. You are just seeking goodness, harmony with God. This is not some pulverizing creative explosion. It's simply a peace, a joy, hope, assurance, contentment, creativity, calmness, order, creativity, insight, awareness of all that you truly value, which you've personified as your God, which you are devoted to. This is who you are. And you will receive guidance as to how you can improve. You know, your view will be modified by the practice, because you'll be drawing on God's guidance, because you've drawn nigh to Him. And in that awareness sense, He draws nigh to you. I mean, Kingdom of Heaven was always at hand, but you hadn't reached out, except in rather lovely moments and when you were in love, or suddenly a clear space. The poem, there arrives a lull in the hot race, wherein each doth forever pace. There's a calm. That's what you're seeking. So there's none of this courting, explosive Kundalini experience. We're not going for an alcoholic boost. The spiritual equivalent. We're not doing that. We actually seek to be God's friend forever. I'm not looking for transcendence. I am your friend. I'm not transcending anywhere. I know you are here within me. And I want to tell you I love you and wish to love you always. And you're looking to him to make that so. And you know in your heart, this is what he wants because he loves you. Because of course he's your God. Made in the image, as you see it, of all that you truly value. And he will guide you more clearly into what you do truly value. And nurture such, because you're a child of God. And you're going to be as lovely as he is in the fullness of time. A wonderful friend to have. One of trillions of trillions. The vast family of God, heavenly host. The loveliness of it. His family. Do you see that it's not an ego trip, but on the other hand, in a sense it is. It's an ego that wishes to embrace, in harmony, relationships with all life, all that is. And it may well be that every atom is life, every particle, every lifetron that the atoms are made of. Together it constitutes a tangibility of God. But God is, well, as we understand it, possibly infinitely more in who knows what dimensions. Lovely God. And if you find that too distant to relate to, he's a person. Either you can think of him in terms of being a person of persons, or you can equally become aware of the fact that you as a person is something utterly fantastic beyond your imagination at present. Just as he is. You are a child of God. You're of the same spiritual material. In fact, I would say you're of the same causal material. You are genetically linked, part of his self. But in a plurality, that there be fellowship, community, not singularity, which is appalling isolation. Do you see? Just as he is the reason for us living, we are his reason for wanting to live. Else it would be a one-sided relationship. He didn't want that. He wants us to experience the fullness of life and loveliness that he experiences. Because he loves us. And we love him. Thank God. And the Kriya moves us in that direction. And if it doesn't, don't do it. Do what does. That might be good company. It might be worship. It might be walks in the country. Might be dictating. Recording like I do. That will be your Kriya. And lovely too. Because you see, you are unique. Wonderfully unique. Bless you. Thank you, Dad. Look, I'm going to say it again. You're not seeking explosive joy. If you do, well, it's a bit like having a drink. You're going for the alcohol, but the reality is not there. The idea of the breathing technique is that you call on the thoughts of God by giving the mind the right atmosphere to be sensitive and tuning into God accordingly. That may give you some joy, contentment, of course, because that's the way you're breathing. But I'm not seeking that as the end product. I'm not just going out for spiritual kicks. I'm seeking to be God's eternal friend because I know in my heart I want to be his eternal friend and that I want him to want that for us with him. So I'm attuning my consciousness accordingly. How do I envisage that attunement to be? Peace, joy, yes. Creativity, love, awareness, devotion, goodness, wisdom, understanding, assurance. Look, you can give the list. It's the features of your God. Perhaps not quite the list I've given, but could be. And he'll show you what it is. He'll adjust your view of him. It's another way of saying he will increase your consciousness. Consciousness of God is the level of access you have to God's thoughts, his mind. And instead of it being some narrow ego access, Marshall has retired, whatever, economist come teacher and so on. It's an access that's much wider, appropriate to moving towards being an eternal, wonderful member of the host of heaven, adult, mature, beautiful friend of God. Because that's what I value. That's what this practice is meant to be about. And that's what it is about from my point of view. Maybe yours.
Not quite yours, but something like it. Or it may give you some encouragement to be more aware of what your purpose is. Beware of what you desire, for you will surely have it. So use some caution, wisdom, rationality. Seek such. Know what you're seeking. God is love. God is truth. God is the personification of all that you truly value, including understanding, enlightenment, and yes, transcendence in that sense. Not in some spiritual orgy of joy experience, exploding beyond what you can take. But a wonderful fellowship with the most wonderful of the universe. Your dad, your heavenly dad. Bless you.